Hello, welcome to Sterling Armory Sword Talk. This is our episode 9, and we have a fun one today. So last week we were covering a bunch of stuff about swords that we made, and if you're not familiar with our Sword Talk, we talk about everything here sword related with everyone here at Sterling Armory. So from stuff that we make, like I was just mentioning, to other makers that we're going to talk about today, and then all sorts of things sword related, from like sparring and HEMA stuff and competitions, as well as stage combat and theater and film and all sorts of things. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll have a good sword talk today. And let's bring everyone on. We do have one person that's going to be running late today, so he'll join in when he can. But until then, all right. So we have today we have Thomas and Colton, and then Josh will be joining us hopefully a little later. So guys, real quick, you want to give a quick intro?
Sure. So I'm Thomas. As always, I cannot be found anywhere online. But if you do want to, for some reason, reach out to me instead of somebody else, you can message the Sterling Armory page on Facebook, and I can answer there.
Yeah, and I'm Colton from Copperthorn Customs. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Or Sterling Armory page. Yep.
Yeah. And then I'm Chris Fields. Again, I always forget what I say. Aerospace engineer, sword maker. And then you can find me and all of us at Sterling Armory. And obviously, if you're here, you found us on YouTube. And hopefully you're enjoying the Sword Talk series. This is episode 9 already. I can't believe we've already shot 9 of these episodes. Yeah. So it's pretty good. These come out every other week, every other Thursday. We were debating on doing it once a week, but I don't think we could keep up with that. So, before we jump into the main topic, again, Josh will be joining us a little later. If you're new to the Sword Talk, what we do to spice things up is, while we're talking about whatever the main topic is of the day, we also make sure we're nice and drunk. So what are we drinking today? I'll go ahead and start. So I'm back to the Dangst mead from Denmark, the white bottle, which is my favorite. They have a variety. I think they have 6 different flavors now. This is by far my favorite. It's the most pure honey wine that they have. And then I'm drinking out of my old Run Fair Georgian. This is my
nice.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Need one of those.
So I am also drinking mead. Mine is Meridian Hive Blackberry. It's a blackberry mead from Austin, Texas.
I have not seen that.
It comes recommended from a friend. So it's my first time trying it. And I am drinking out of my NASA mug.
Did you just pick that up from their last visit?
That's the one I picked up when you and I went.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah. I picked up the other. I picked up another one though, so I got a second one.
Awesome. Yeah, I got like 12 of them.
Not surprised.
But
one day.
Yeah, I'm gonna need one of those someday, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta come out.
I'll come out and go to NASA with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am drinking pineapple juice and gin.
I have to try that now that you were talking about it.
It's way better than anticipated. I was just like, what do I got? Pineapple juice, gin, pretty good. So here we go.
It works.
Yeah, good to know. Thomas, where did you get that one, by the way? Did you get that at the local place? Or?
I think so. So I did not get this myself. Somebody else bought it and then brought it to me. No, I got it at ABC Liquor. The one there on Del Mabry. I was there when it was purchased, so that's how I remember now.
Okay.
They just they ran up. They're like, "Oh, hey, I've got this," and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome," and then left it.
Yeah. So yeah. So for the audience
game.
members, you guys, if you've been with us for a while, you know. But yeah, we're just a bunch of nerds who like to. I usually say drink mead and talk about swords, but we're drinking a little bit more than mead, and many of these. So when Chet's on, he's got tequila?
A lot of times,
yeah. Okay.
Well,
so our main.
Oh no! So I was just gonna say that I don't know if I'm allowed to have mead after that one. I don't know. 2 times ago.
Oh, we want you to have mead all the time.
Oh my gosh! Oh my
gosh!
Half a bottle.
7.
Not the whole thing.
It was a fun one.
It was really good. Okay. That was the one with Sam. Speaking of which, Sam just started. So Sam from Sam Fantasy, is it Sam? Yeah, Sam Fantasy and Fiction and Fun. I always mix up the F words in her title.
Yeah,
I think that's right. Sam Fantasy and Fiction Fun. I think that's right. But she's just released a ton of videos, like doing gaming streams. She's playing all sorts of things now. So
Nice.
Sweet.
she went back to Witcher 1. So she's playing Witcher 1. She's like, oh my god, this is so
choice.
yeah, it's a very frustrating game to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for our topic of today, I sidetracked there. So our topic of today, so last time we talked about our favorite pieces that we made. Is that? Trying to make sure is that right? I think that's what our last topic was.
Yeah, just anything.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. It wasn't just swords. It was our favorite things that we made. Yeah.
Any project we have made.
Right.
Yeah.
So to follow up, we're now switching gears because here at our Sterling Armory group, we're not just makers, but we also love the sword world itself. So now we're actually flipping the narrative and saying what are our favorite pieces from other makers. And it's been quite a funny conversation because so both Colton and Thomas are somewhat new to other makers here. So we'll talk about it as we're going. And then Josh hopefully will chime in because he has a couple good picks as well. All right, so to get started, I guess let me pull in the slide set here. I'm not sure if it's on the right spot when I pull it in. Oh, it is. Okay. So we'll start with me. We'll round robin it. So again, if you're new to the channel here, when we do our sword talk, like for this particular conversation, we have a list. We picked our top 3. We're just going to walk through them, top 3. And some of us have some of these in house, or at least I do. I think Josh does too, if he gets on. But until then, we'll just be running through the slides. So real quick, I'll go ahead and start. So it'll go me, and I believe the order that we're in there. So we'll skip Josh and then Thomas and Colton.
Nice.
So it was very hard for me to pick my top 3 because I have so many swords from my favorite makers. I have a whole collection, and I'm not quite done with it yet. But I have a collection of so started with Baltimore Knife and Sword as well. Actually, no, take that back. Started with Deltin, then Baltimore Knife and Sword, then Angus Trim, and then Arms and Armor and Albion. So, and I want to squeeze Valiant in there. I don't have the piece that I want from them at the moment, but there's a lot of great makers out there, and that inspired me to start making blades myself, especially Deltin and Baltimore Knife and Sword. They really got me, cranking out more blades and got me excited to be a maker. So, but the ones that I had to pick, I kind of figured, okay, how do I pick my top 3? And so for that, I was like, if I were to buy a sword today, what would I pick? And that's kind of what I used to gauge that.
That's a good way to go about that.
Yeah. So 2 of these I have, it's because I have already bought them. And the first one here is the Albion Kingmaker. So the Albion, let me grab it. So the one shown, I believe, is the black grip. Yeah. So let me not cut myself with it. So
that would be bad.
This is the Albion Kingmaker. If you've watched our sword talks before, this has actually been on a couple times because it's a good example of a Type 18 arming sword. And then we also used it when we're talking about casting of hilt parts in that sword talk. But yeah, so this has always been one of my favorites that they made. I'm surprised it's not as popular it is. This actually is, when I was talking with Mike, he said it's actually not one of the more popular blades that they sell, which is surprising because I love this piece. And the reason why I bought it from Albion instead of just making it is, one, I've always wanted Albion pieces. I very much appreciate all their work. And this particular blade is a hollow ground Type 18. So if you can, I don't know if I can get in there, but if you can see the, I don't know if that's close enough. Actually, let me do this. What am I doing here? There we go.
Yeah.
So if you can see the cross section of the blade there, kind of, it's hollow ground, so it's not flat. This whole entire blade is hollow ground out, and that's just something I don't want to do. So as a maker, I don't want to do that. How do I go back to? There we go.
There we go.
So as a maker, this is something that I probably will never do. Well, I can't say never. I just don't want to do it because it's my shop isn't set up to do it this way. And it's an easy setup change. I just really don't want to do it. So, and Albion's already doing it, and they make a beautiful piece, and I don't want to copy their work either. So, and this is based off of a couple of historical pieces, but the way they did everything, it came together really well. So if I were to buy it, so if I didn't have this and I had to pick an Albion blade to buy first, it would be this one. The second Albion that I almost put here is the Albion Viceroy, and a buddy of mine has one. I do not have one, but I'll hopefully have one at some point. But that's a blade that I can also make, so I wouldn't copy their work, but I would make one similar. Not to sell, but that would just be for myself. So that's my number 3. So skip Josh. So Thomas has an awesome number 3, but this one we kind of just found today.
Yeah, so to kind of go back as what we were saying before is I'm newer to the business, as it were, but even then, and I'll get into more details later, but I've only really ever used one maker's blades throughout my entire career. And when it came to like finding makers that I liked, as you'll see by my number 2, I also default to Albion. I just love their work. I've actually had the chance to handle a lot of them. And not to say that I haven't played with a lot of really fun swords, but excuse me, it's just hard for me to like pick up something that somebody else has made and say, oh, I really like this, unless I had some kind of input in it. So with that said, specifically to this one is another replication to the Heronmark blade. If it's not obvious by now, 9 episodes in, that I am a huge Wheel of Time fan, and the Heronmark blades play a huge role in that. There is the windlass cutlass version that a lot of people, whenever they look for it, will always come across in a Google search. It's equal parts too fancy and too basic for me. Nothing against the blade itself. It is a fine blade, but it's just not my style. This one is obviously even fancier than that one, but I appreciate that it does have a lot more uniqueness to it in that regard.
Yeah.
Now, in the book series, though, usually the Heronmark blades, they kind of come in a wide range, from over-the-top fancy like this to very plain swords that no one won't even notice differences of if they were out and about. But I saw this one and I've kind of really liked it, and I'm going to be going back to the Fabled Blades a few more times. The maker being
Brendan.
Yeah, Brendan. I can't pronounce his last name to save my life.
Yeah,
I would be
can't.
embarrassed.
Sorry. Osley.
Alzui. O-L-S.
Brendan, sorry if we're butchering your last name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so real quick shout out to Brendan. I've known him for, I guess, Brendan, how long have I known you? About 12 years now, I guess. So if you're watching, yeah, all of his blades, we got to give him a shout out because he has a unique way of making his blades. So he takes a lot of fantasy blades from literature and gives his own spin on them, and they're all awesome.
Right, and like making blades off literature is so hard because you're basically making it without any visuals. You're basically based off what's written down in Word. Sometimes you get lucky and you get people like Tolkien, who was also an amazing artist and drew out a lot of his own designs for things. But the reality is a lot of fantasy doesn't have that benefit.
Yeah, and he's also making a lot of other really fancy swept-up cages now. And Brendan's out of, I believe, Australia. Again, sorry, Brendan, if I'm butchering your stats here. But yeah, he's an awesome maker. If you want to see some amazing fantasy blades, or if you want one, yeah, definitely reach out to him on Fabled Blades. Yeah, great maker, awesome guy. I'm hoping at some point he'll be over here in the States so we can all grab mead together, because he would get along with us quite well. In fact, maybe we can try to have him as a guest. I haven't even thought to ask him.
That's what I was just going to say. Let's get him on here. Let's talk to him.
I don't know why I haven't asked him that yet. So, yeah. So next is Colton.
Hey, yeah. So Same as Thomas, except for maybe even more so. I don't exactly know who made this or where it's from. This was just years ago. This sword caught my eye, and like I had it saved in my phone forever. I tried making one myself. It did not turn out nearly as nice as that.
That
What?
exact one, or one similar to that?
One similar.
Yeah, because I'm not sure who made the one we're showing here.
Yeah, no, I don't know who made that.
But I know Todd from Todd Stuff. I don't think that's Todd's. Todd from Todd Stuff, I think, makes the best version of that. And audience, this is actually a replica of a piece from the Wallace collection in London. I've had a chance to study and actually hold that original piece.
Ooh.
And it's a really sweet blade. And Todd by far makes I think the closest reproduction to it. It's almost exact. But I'm not sure who made the one pictured there.
Yeah, like I said, I have
so if
no
you guys
idea.
know, let us know. And sorry if we used your picture and we don't know who you are. So
Yeah. I was just like, this is awesome. I love whoever made this. And
it's a Swiss saber, by the way.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. There we go. Yeah. Like I tried to. My skill level is not even close to that, and it looks like they're honestly using a lot of heat work in that to get all those things flared out. I would assume. I'm not set up to do that. Mine was much more basic, and I don't know. I wish I had a picture of the one that I made because it doesn't look anything like that. But I loved it and kind of got me started on making swords. Well, it's my early days of making swords.
Okay,
So.
got you.
Right.
What's cool about the original piece of that one is that the fuller itself changes its internal radius as you go down the blade. So it's really neat. You can kind of see it in the picture there. So you can see the step from the wide radius to the much narrower radius at the bottom. But it actually does it multiple times throughout that blade. It's a very intricate process. So I think they hand carved it out, the original, I think. But yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That blade's wicked light. I think it's like a 38-inch blade, if I remember right. I could be wrong. That might be too long. But it's a long blade and it's really light. It's a nice piece.
I'd love to have one like that. So someday
we gotta take our trip to London together and look at
that'd be awesome. I'd love to go see it.
All right, back around to me. This sword talk might go quick. These usually we try to go about 45 minutes to an hour. This one might go quick depending. So when Josh gets on, that might take it out a bit. So for my second choice, again, if I were to buy one today, I actually have this one on order from Arms and Armor. But when I first found Arms and Armor, I think this probably was like 96, 97. So it was a long time ago. And this was one of their first pieces that caught my eye. And if you notice a trend in my sword, you'll see they're all Type 18s. This is like a Type 18. Hey, speaking of which. Hey, there's Josh.
Hey, timing.
Oh my gosh.
One sec here. Let me turn off the banner so I can see myself. Thomas, I lost where the banner stuff is. Found it.
It's under banners.
There we go.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, Type 18.
So we'll go back to your number one in a second, or sorry, number three in a second. We're on number twos at the moment. We just started, so number two.
Yeah, no worries.
So Arms and Armor is a fantastic company. Everyone there who works there is awesome, and this is one of those ones where when I saw it, I was like, "Ooh, I really wanted that piece." But back, in the '90s, I couldn't afford $1,000 sword, so that's why I started making my own. But now that I can afford this one, I reached out to them. Actually, I was up in their shop. I think it was last August or September, and went ahead and put the order in person there. And they had one I almost walked out with, but I ended up saying no. I want to put an order in for this guy. So yeah, I'll be getting one of these in. But the only difference is mine will have that blue grip, and it's a beautiful piece. And what Arms and Armor does the best is they have actual castings off original guards and pommels and stuff. So the hilt pieces are one-to-one to an original piece. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
So sorry, Arms and Armor, and Nathan and Chris and Craig. Sorry, I got your logo sideways, but when I had it vertical, it was too small. So. All right, now that Josh is on, Josh, do you want to do it while I'm going back to your number one? You want to give a quick intro of yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Warbear and very late. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Lots of work today. I'm drinking Red Bull because I have been working a 12-hour day. I'm just beat, so alcohol would just put me over the top. I also just realized I'm wearing a shirt that says butt stuff.
I was laughing at you when you got in. It's like, okay, that's a bold choice.
Yeah.
I have a purple shirt that says it's got Skeletor on it and He-Man, and that's what I thought I grabbed. And
No, that is not what you have, though.
I did not.
It works.
Well,
I'm glad you weren't
you know.
on in the first few minutes because YouTube
Might have clipped me.
You're right. Yeah.
I'm Warbear. You can find me at Dark Archer Design on Instagram or Josh Von Warbear on my Facebook. Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
So I want to make sure I got your order right. Is this your number 3?
Yep. That's my number 3.
Okay.
Jeffrey Robinson does like the best bronze work I've ever seen in my life. He has the best hilts in the world, and of course, we've covered this sword set before. That's Ufrael, and its sister sword, his son's broken sword. I forget what that one's called, but it's one of those things where I was playing the game, 4, 5, 6 years ago, whenever Sword of Shadows of Mordor came out. And it combined Batman, Assassin's Creed, and Lord of the Rings, some of my favorite things. And I saw the swords, and I fell in love with every aspect of them. How are they used? All of the way they looked. And then I remember being online and searching for reference pics because I wanted to make a broken sword, and I found these. I'm like, oh my god, someone already made them. And it just, and I'm sure we can say this about all of ours and our top 2s and 1s, is you see a picture of something and see that it exists, and it just like turbocharges your already formidable drive to where you're like, oh, I gotta get back in the garage and make something now. This is awesome. And this sword set did that for me.
When do you think that came out?
Shadow of Mordor, 2012, 2014. 2014?
Somewhere
Eight
around
years
there,
ago.
Yeah. 8 years ago. Oh my god. And then
Yeah,
Shadow of War came out probably 2 to 3 years after that.
Yeah. But you said like 4 to 5 years ago, and I was like, I think it was.
Couldn't been. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That was when you and I were in the shop together when I was doing Broken Swords. You're right. Oh, how time flies.
I know, it's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So awesome. Yeah, I still think you should take a crack at trying to make that piece.
Soon. I think I might be ready for that clamshell cross design.
Do it.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments before I jump back to our list there? In fact, I think Josh, we're actually on to you next.
Yes.
Nice.
All right, so we get to.
So yeah, that was my number 2. There was Arms and Armor, and then Josh's number 2.
Yeah. This one was a toss up because I almost decided Narsil because Narsil, of course.
Right.
But as I was Googling, because I actually chose, I was like Peter Lyons Narsil. That's definitely it. And as I was Googling, this one popped up, and it like unlocked a memory in my head of me watching Narnia and remembering the scene where the centaurs are charging with like the great big claymore looking esque swords. And I was just like, oh, and I love the way it's like an open wood grip, that like very obscure fishtail meaty pommel. And I usually am not a fan of upswept guards, but this one in conjunction with that rain guard it just blew my mind. And in my mind, I also remember it being a lot bigger than that because I remember like the centaurs holding it like, 3-4 hander, but I could be wrong. And this is it too. This could be it.
Right.
But yeah.
Did Peter do all of those?
I'm not sure. Now that I've said it out loud, I didn't even look to see if Peter actually did these. I probably should have.
I think he did most of them, but I'm curious if I know
Sure.
Tony Swatton helped with some pieces. I don't know who made what. So
We're just
Tony
gonna have to
Peter,
get
sorry if we messed that up.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to get them on the show to clarify things.
Exactly. Yeah, we were talking earlier. Josh, sorry, I'm going to backtrack again. We're going over the place. So Brendan, right? Josh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we should have asked him to be a guest on here already. So we're going to try to get him on.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's super
Absolutely.
cool. He would definitely fit in with us.
Yeah.
Well, he does fit in. Yeah. He and I used to talk a long time ago on the various sword forums before Facebook and all that stuff existed. So yeah, that's how I know him.
Back in the forums, the sword forums.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they're still around, surprisingly. I
Oh man,
don't know how they are, but
so hard to navigate.
right. So we think this one is Peter Line. We think. But we'll double check that. On to the next. And then Josh, I also when I started my number 3, I was just letting everybody know, like, I had a hard time picking because I have so many favorites from different makers. So if you have any extra comments or any other makers,
Same, and yeah, I'll definitely go into that as well because, like you said, it's a hard list, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's funny the dichotomy of it.
That one's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying before, the Albions, but it's funny you guys say that because it's really, Colton and I basically are like the polar opposites of you and Chris and Warbear, in that, like, we're so new we had trouble finding like things to put on the list, while you guys have the inverse problem of having too many for a list.
Right. Yep. We'll just hand them out. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this is a great example. This was the first one I picked. And Albion, we go to Comic-Con and they obviously have a booth, and I was flabbergasted on day one of being at Comic-Con last year, watching people walk up and just, like, before anything had started anywhere, people were buying things from him. Like, yeah, you do have this thing, and he's like, yeah, here you go. Like,
yep.
I was just like, I need that. I want to be that. Like, you're just so well known that, like, nobody, like, they don't actually care what it is. They're just like, I need that.
Yeah.
But obviously, in turn, I go looking for it myself, and again, as we've seen in the shows, I have a preference towards bigger blades and so forth. And this one, I just really loved the design because I love that wire wrap handle. I love that pommel. Like, it's just complex enough that I don't think I'm ready to do it myself, but I'm like, I see it as like a challenge that I want to get to. I also like kind of like that bow tie looking guard it has, where it kind of thins out closer to the middle. Just everything about it, I love the design, and I can't wait to get one of my own. Because that's gonna be one of the first things I look to get for myself. That is somebody else's piece.
Yeah, hopefully you can make it to Comic-Con this year. Actually, we can reach out to Mice to see if we'll have one of these out there. But actually, so the one that you picked is the longsword version of the one I picked. So that's that hollow ground Type 18 blade that I never want to try myself. Something died in the background there.
Yeah. I'm being presented with gifts, and Tari dropped it. I now have Terror Claws Skeletor.
Awesome.
And
nice.
Stridor. And I also have diced pimentos, which is not a cheese, as it turns out, but in fact a pepper. Thank you for that.
Hi, Tari.
Everybody says hi. She waves.
We asked where our gifts were.
This particular blade is hologram throughout its whole length, and it's a 36, 37-inch blade. So I don't want to ever do that yet.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'll get to a point where I want to, but I would love to have that particular one as well.
One day.
I remember seeing this pop up on Cult of Athena recently, as like may take a year to get there. They don't have it in stock. They're just like taking orders for it.
Right.
And I almost pulled the trigger on it because of the way that hilt looks,
Yeah.
Mostly I'm a wheel or casket pommel, but that like crazy fishtail pommel. The way the grip darts in at the cross and then flares out just subtly and then tapers right back in with a waist, and then that wire grip with those upholstery nails or whatever they're counted as. Just it has me lusting for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a really cool piece. There's a couple guys did some reviews of this on YouTube as well, and it's a great cutter too. They were doing some competition cutting with it.
Very nice.
I believe this blade is one of few competitions. All right. So on to Colton. Speaking of
Ah, there it is.
Speaking of
Yeah.
Narsil, there it is. I mean, I don't even know if I have to say anything. There it is.
right.
Peter Lawson.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
amazing, right? Like,
it's one of the most
know-
universally recognized and coveted and just
Yeah.
yeah,
beautiful swords there has ever been.
Is
I
he?
would.
Is
Absolutely.
he still making them?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Like, I would
we'll have
love to get
uh,
one, but like,
Peter, if you're watching, are you still
Yeah.
making these?
yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about it. There it is. It's amazing.
Right.
Everything about it is
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
Kind of
Everybody-
speaks for itself.
Anybody
Right.
who's listening to this has seen it 1,000 times or
Yeah.
more. It's
The thing about Narsil and Andro is when you see it, it gets broken and still is the most badass sword you've ever seen in your life.
Yep.
And then it cuts Boromir, and you're like, as a bunch of shards laying on the table, the coolest friggin' sword you've ever seen in your life. And then it gets reforged and then becomes the coolest sword you've ever seen in your life once again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
Did anyone else have that that guy at the Ren Fair booth feeling when Boromir puts his
Oh,
finger
yeah.
on the edge? So
Yeah.
it's like that random guy
What are you
walking up
doing?
to the fair.
Come on.
Yeah.
Are these sharp?
Yeah. Are these
Like-
real?
I'm like, come on, Boromir. What- So,
You should know better.
right.
Of course it's
Yeah.
sharp. They didn't blunt it and then break it. It's oh
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
If you can
Yeah.
get one of these, I'll have to talk to or ask Peter again. Peter, if you're watching, if you can comment below, that'd be awesome.
We have a lot of
Um,
questions
yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
You know,
So United Cutlery did a licensed version, I believe, a while ago. It was all it was all aluminum hardware, right?
Mhm.
Like the guard
Oh,
and the
yeah.
pommel were all
What?
aluminum, and then they, like aluminum does, it just eventually just goes completely gray, so it looks like it was clicked on a paint bucket in Photoshop and filled with
Oh.
gray.
Yeah.
It was a bit weird.
Awful.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
my sister has a bunch of the United Cutlery ones, and honestly, at one point she dropped Glamdring and the pommel snapped in half, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of sad.
Yeah, I got. So I don't think you can see it. Yeah, you can't. It's off screen. But I have Glamdring and the Ranger sword here.
Like,
Um,
and they're
mainly-
really cool. They look awesome, but
But that it ends there.
it ends
Yeah.
there.
No.
And like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and honestly, I don't know if I would ever do anything with it other than just hang it on a wall. But
Oh, you can't.
yeah.
It's just a wall hanger. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and so, but I would want it to be better if I get a version myself, just because.
Yeah, so I
like,
was
Sure.
curious if Peter is making them. I'm like, I'm curious how much they would run for. I know he did
Save
a
up.
run of
Yeah.
Marcel's. It was a while ago though, and I don't know if it's through him directly or through Weta.
Is that the Master Collection?
Yeah.
Wherever it was.
So that's pretty much the film props, right? So,
Right.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome. Alrighty. Good pick. And then, so we're already on our number ones. It's going
Yeah.
pretty quick. So my number one, again, I also have this one. So again,
What is
if you, for audience, if you guys have seen Sword Talk before, well, I'm hitting swords together here. You've seen this one before. I've talked about this a lot. So this was a huge favorite of mine ever since the older version appeared on Highlander. And if I didn't have my own blades, I wasn't making my own blades, and I had to pick one sword for myself, this would probably be it. This is a Deltin. Forgot the model number. I want to say 5155, but I could be wrong. There's two versions of it. One with this blade, which is the narrower blade. It's not as historically accurate as the other version that has the wider blade. And then I'm also remaking one that's closer to the original. So the original piece, one of them is in Leeds that I got a chance to study, but I think there's like 4 or 5 originals that are similar to this in museums across Germany, Spain, and the UK. But yeah, I don't know what it is about this blade, but as soon as I saw it on screen, I was like, oh, I gotta have that. And as a kid, I made a wood version of it, and then it's, And obviously,
Don't you also have an umbrella version of this sword?
I do. I do. We made this in an umbrella. I have it. It's
Oh,
actually
nice.
outside the front of my house right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've just always been a fan, and for those of you guys who know my personal blade, you see obviously my personal blade took a lot from this one. So yeah, and the funny thing is, every time I pick this blade up, I forget how long this thing is. This thing has a 36-inch blade on it, or 37-inch blade. Sorry, 37-inch blade. So it's a long blade. It's much longer than mine. So like when I stand it up next to my sword, which is right next to it, it dwarfs it. So I don't know if you can see, but yeah. Yeah, Deltin I think is very underrated today, because once Albion and Arms and Armor and all these other companies that are making, I guess US-based, more modern manufacturing methods to make these blades, it's kind of overshadowing Deltin, who I think still makes fantastic pieces. I believe his son is running the company now. I could be wrong. But I know he had hurt his wrist pretty bad last year, and so he had a lot of production delays. So, but they're back up, and actually one of these is just up for sale on the website, and the prices are still great. The blades are great. He uses 6150 steel, and yeah, they have a museum look to them that you don't see. Like them and Arms and Armor have the best, I think, museum look to them. If you want something that looks like you just pulled it out of a museum. So yeah, I don't know if it's just the way they do their castings or the way they do their fit and finish, but yeah, if you were to look at a museum piece and look at a Deltin, it's hard to tell the difference. So
That's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So next, Josh, why
This
haven't you made this yet?
This just screams you, man. Like this.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, you could totally.
yeah,
make
this
today.
Yeah.
this sword has been a lust piece. Michael, Sigmund, if you're watching this, send me one. Yeah, I saw this forever ago, and it was just like I saw the face of God, and then it winked at me. And everything about it, just again, like you said, it screams me. It has that wheel pommel, that really severe wasted grip. The really sweet curved S guard that's tapered, or what you call it, right at the ends. The rain guard. Even though the blade doesn't have a fuller, I'm still super into it.
Yeah.
It just like I like to think that
right now.
my ancestor made it. It was just me, but way balder somehow, and way more straggly. But yeah, I loved it, and I've tried to make it a couple times. I started with that S guard, and granted, I have, and it's also part of what would have been one of our topics: the worst f ups you ever had making a sword.
That'll be coming soon.
Yeah.
Wait, is that when you? Okay, we'll wait till we get to that episode.
Yeah. I ruined it up bad. I tried the S guard, and nothing was working right on it. It was too thick a stock. Everything. Either way, the sword is. I have like a folder called Inspirato on my desktop, which is just things that I love. That if I ever hit the low point in the juice box, I jump in there and I look around at my coolest things I've ever collected or seen, and it just reamps me. And this is definitely one of them.
What I love about this particular, so this is one of their museum line, which means it is a copy of an original museum piece. And although it's the fit and finish is much nicer than the museum piece.
Yeah.
But the pommel, if you look at the edges of the pommel, they actually have detailed work around the edges, and it's
right. They have like a braided cord look around the edge of the pommel.
I was just gonna mention that. I'm like, because they matched it on the grip as well in the leather, and it's like that.
Right.
Ties
With
that
the
together
risers
so nicely. Yeah. Like,
Yep.
This one's
nice.
This one's really good. I think it's on the high end of like $2,100 at the moment, price wise, with a year lead time. You know, Topeka makes a really close second. Sorry, that wasn't a dig at Albion. Yeah, that was I've seen the Topeka version, and God bless those guys for making swords, but it's a little lackluster. And then the way I've never seen so much epoxy resin filling up a thing.
I mean, it's hard to it's hard to. So I mean, the guys who designed and did this for Albion actually had the originals in their hands. I don't think because held the original.
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Still,
so. Josh,
that's like the two.
So the blade that is on this one is very similar to that one I actually posted on our group earlier today.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I know. So I know you can make that blade.
Yeah.
But what
I know I can do the pommel. I
is,
don't know about that braid. It would be a simplified version of the clothing.
Dude, you could do that.
Yeah.
You guys have way too much faith in me.
No, you just grind it around and then file in those lines. You're good to go, man. You got it.
I'm not the file guy. You're the file guy, Colton. We got to tag team. So, I got the leather and the cross guard. You know, I'll base it out if you want to file it.
It does.
We'll make two. Colton. You and I, two. Yeah, that way we both get one.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Then you got to make two more.
And then two more for
and then
Chris
we
and
can
Thomas.
both have two. Oh wait,
Yeah.
That's not what you meant. Okay.
Yeah,
No,
Thomas
I was
can
thinking
get
you
on
just dual wield it.
I know. Just
Yeah, that's true. Dual wielding.
So the other cool thing, and this is very common in these types of S guards. So the chamfers that you see on this side only exist on this side of the guard. So the other side of the guard is actually flat across the whole piece. And I'm not sure why that is, but it's very common on this style of blade. And
well, I tried it on both sides of the cross and ruined it all the way up.
Yeah. So if you want it to be exactly like the museum piece, the chamfers are only on one side. And I'm not sure why that was the case. If anybody knows, let us know. But from guys that I've talked to who've studied the original, that they're not quite sure why they only did it on one side. But it was a common thing. And the only guess is when you wear a side or your sword, it's always one side out. So that's the guess, is maybe presentation-wise, you only needed that on one side. But
I think the guy making it made it and was like, one side's enough.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
He's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's good.
Right.
Good enough.
All right. So next.
Yeah.
So I cheated.
Yeah.
My number one is actually one that Chris made. In my defense, when I
recognize those washed out fence boards anywhere.
Yeah, I know, right?
Deck boards.
Yeah.
Those washed out great deck board splinters everywhere.
Yeah, that deck is gone now.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So this is the first piece I ever received from Chris. It was before I really knew Chris. I do Ren fairs, obviously, and a bunch of them were like, well, if you want a piece, reach out to this guy. And I was like, all right, well, I'll try that. And I tried it, and he didn't respond the first time.
I didn't?
No. Yeah, the first time I reached out to you, we actually didn't connect for a while. It was actually TJ that hooked us up. And then we started talking, and you said you were working on a piece like this, and I had a little bit of input, but not a lot. And we made this piece. I still remember it. I sadly no longer have it, and yes, it is a regret that I let it go. You probably remember too, but I know where it is. But the one thing is, by the time I did let it go, inside the handle, the wood had cracked, so it did lose a little bit of its sound, unfortunately. With that said, though, the fuller work I love to death. It's hard to see in that picture, but it's two fullers that come together, and honestly, I should just let Chris talk about it since he's the one who made it.
Yeah,
but because anything he talks about.
Those.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that pommel.
Not pommel, the blade. So the blade, the fullers are two. So it was a 1/4 inch radius end mill. So the fullers were milled prior to a heat treat, and two fullers milled into one. Not something I want to do again. So everything we do here is one of a kind, and that is definitely one of a kind.
And that's why.
But yeah, the pommel was also milled out, and then we also, it was the first time I actually did a spherical grind on the pommel after doing the millwork in it, and it came out super comfortable, really nice. So I actually forgot that I did that, so I might redo that on a sword coming up soon. The pommel is super comfortable.
What was the weight on this one?
I could not tell you off the top of my head. Yeah, something around there.
I think it's a 30. We were talking earlier. I couldn't remember the length of the blade, but I'm pretty sure it's
somewhere between 30 and 32.
Yeah, and it's 2 1/4 wide at the base, so it's a big blade, width-wise.
Yeah.
And then the handle. So that was originally a single-handed blade. It was intended to be a single-handed sword, but Thomas wanted a longer grip, so I extended the tang.
Yeah, you
I
damn
got
right.
big hands. I got big
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah, Thomas is a big, big guy.
That's a two-hander for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and those are the bronze. I don't do bronze much anymore, but back when I did this, I was doing a lot of bronze.
Yeah, bronze.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the guard and pommel are 954 bronze on that one.
Back in Chris's bronze age.
Yeah. I still do occasionally, but I really, if somebody wants bronze, I say, reach out to Josh. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Love me some bronze.
Yeah. All right. Colton,
Hey!
number one. I
Okay.
really didn't make one of these.
Boromir.
Yeah.
Good old Boromir. I'll just keep talking about him.
Yeah.
I don't know how I bring him up like every other episode. Anyways, so I had to go look this one up because I actually didn't know who made it. Ben Wooten? Does that sound right?
This particular one we're showing?
The one for the movie.
Oh, I thought Peter did.
I don't know because I kind of thought that too, and then I Googled it, and then Ben's name popped up under this one. So I don't know that. So comment below if you know.
Yeah, please.
And we will love to give credit to whoever actually did it, but I believe it said Ben. I don't know. I did not have much time to research this.
Could be a different Weta guy.
It could be. I have no idea. So whoever did it did an amazing job. It's been one of my favorite swords for ever. Sadly, I really don't make many single-handers. When I make a sword, I want to make a big old sword. Like, it's way more entertaining to me, or intriguing to me, I guess. But then whenever I see swords along this line, then I was like, why do I not make those more? And I really would like to.
Yeah. This is a huge piece, by the way. It looks like a single-hander with proportions, but it's really not.
Well, it's big, but Boromir uses it single-handedly with a shield sometimes, except for the only time you see him fight, he doesn't have his shield, so...
He does put a second hand on it, yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
He does two-hand fighting with it, but he carries a shield, so...
Yeah.
I don't exactly know what he's intentionally...
Well, Boromir,
It's
Sean Bean is
thing.
huge. He's a huge dude, all
big
armored
guy.
up.
Yeah.
So Ben Wooten designed the sword, and Peter Lyon made it.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
There is the
We're
answer.
sitting here on the computer. I should have just Googled it, I guess.
Don't thank me, thank Google.
Yep.
Thanks, Google.
Okay,
Who's
so
always watching.
So did Ben just do like the concept art beforehand?
Yeah,
and,
he does. Yeah,
And then Peter actually put it into steel. So okay,
that's it.
God,
Yeah.
I love that sword. So
So you're all right.
I mean, like
I
that
wasn't.
one
I
right
didn't say
there
anything.
is like my attempt at something similar because I can't
Show
when
it. Show it off.
I can't
Maximize
I'm
them.
taking my head off.
Maximize his windows so we can see.
Oh, and I was, they have the collection of the original Lord of the Rings blades at the Royal Armories in Leeds, and this was one piece that they did not have there, and I was very disappointed because I wanted to see the Boromir piece.
Okay, so
That looks good.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
unfortunate.
hold on. How
make
do
me
I,
bigger.
yeah.
Make my person grow.
Nope, that's not it.
Okay,
There we
so
go.
There it is. There you are.
This is another one of those like 5 or 6 year ago kind of project. Didn't know what I was doing. I just made it look cool. So
Yeah.
it's really heavy. It's not. There's no distal going on. It's like super. But I don't really want to change it because it is what it is. It's like,
Yeah.
The nostalgia effect of it. I'm just like I made a sword.
Right.
Yeah,
And so,
I have
like-
some old ones that I need to show you guys. It's a different video altogether.
Yeah, we should do a video. Yeah, okay. There's a topic. First
Yeah.
sword, if you have a picture.
So
Yeah.
bad. So bad.
First three.
First three. Yeah, so like obviously it is way simplified, quite different, but just size, shape, whatever. I kind of was just like, oh, perfect. If it's
Is that guard, or
What?
is that guard one piece, or is that two pieces?
7?
Oh, holy crap!
7 pieces.
Wow.
Um,
Jesus.
Why?
That's a lot of pieces.
Like I said, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, it looks good though. It doesn't look like 7 pieces.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah. No. Wall hanger alert.
Are we about to? Yeah, are we about to see a rat tail tang pop out?
No.
No, he's got it. No, that's a beefy.
I don't know if I can. It's not really like seated. Like I said, man. Like I don't know what I was doing. So those are 2 half-inch bars, and then there were 2 2x2.
Jesus.
2 1/4-inch steel plates, and then a couple of different. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different pieces, and then 2 different sizes of DOM tubing, and then I welded it all together and ground it down.
That's some serious welding cleaning.
That's a lot.
That is some testament to some welding right there. Holy
I was gonna
cow!
say, props on you for how clean that looks.
Yeah,
with all
right.
of that.
Did you
Like,
take that? Or
What?
did you take that or make that?
Just made it.
Make it? Wow. Bravo.
Hey, Chris, do you remember the first thing I welded in your shop? I'm pretty sure
yeah.
it was a house with a dick on it.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's on brand for you, man.
Here's some
Yeah.
steel. Go practice welding. And then turn
Yeah.
around this house.
Yeah, it's just a house with a dick on it.
Like, well, what?
That's
Okay.
also the first time I caught my feet on fire, but it wouldn't be the last.
Yeah, I have no room to talk. My welds are butt.
And that was on a
Just
wood floor.
straight butt. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
correct.
I'm surprised we didn't catch that thing on fire.
No one ever.
We'll talk
claimed
about
this.
that in our accidents episode.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
yep. There you go. Anyway, so
That's
Rad.
awesome, man.
there
That's
you go.
awesome,
Many
Well
years
done,
ago,
sir.
loved the sword, and so I made my own. It's not even close, but
Oh,
I like
think that
I think it's still pretty solid, though.
Yeah, it's cooler
Yeah.
than anything I made sword related. Because, not knowing what I was doing.
Yeah.
well, and then it all just like threads together. We'll see if it's nice and tight. For whatever reason, it
So that means it's time to.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Wow, that's
There you
really
go.
pretty.
like
Yeah.
Yeah. That compression.
it sings way better than it should. But
So time
Yeah.
to remake.
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, I would love to make something.
Twist the guard. Make a real Bordner.
100%.
Yeah.
And then that round pommel on there going out like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right up my
Oh,
alley.
yeah. You
I'm-
could do that with your lathe easy now.
Easy.
I'm totally gonna do
You
one
should
of
try to
those.
do that before Combat Con.
No, because then I have to bring it, then I'll have to sell it, and I'll do it after Combat Con so I can keep it.
Fair
I
enough.
mean,
It's a real fear. It's a real fear.
it is. Well, so that's when up the price until you feel comfortable letting it go, right?
Yeah. And even then,
I don't think there's a
Then
high
I
enough
don't
price.
feel good
Yeah.
about it. Then I don't
We have a
feel
great-
good about it.
Yeah, we have a. So Josh and I were at Hogtown in Gainesville, and somebody walked up and offered me what $1,200 for mine personal blade.
I think it was something like 13 or 1,200, but you were only you wanted I think 1,300 and he only wanted to spend 11.
Right. So actually, no. He first said. So I just pulled up 1,300 out of my butt because I didn't think anyone would at the time. I didn't think anyone would pay that much money at a run fair for a
Right.
sword. So he asked. He's like, "How much you
How
selling it for?" And I
wrong
just
was
threw out
I?
a number, like 1,300.
Right.
And he was like, "All right." And I was like, "Oh no, I didn't mean that because I don't want to sell it." So I actually meant it's not for sale. And Josh was like, "You didn't sell it? What the heck?" And then
You said he was willing to go 11. I think that's what happened. I think you said 113 and he was like, "Would you take 11 for it?" And you went no. And then he was like, "Well, 1,100 is as far as I'm willing to go.
okay,
Good day, sir." He did the good day and walked away. And then I looked at you and I was like, "Why didn't you sell it, dude? That was $1,100." And you were like, "Yeah, but it's my favorite. I don't want to sell it." I'm like, "You can make another one and get $1,100 for this one." And he's like, "Yeah, well, would you sell your personal sword?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And then mine was on the rack. And then lo and friggin' behold, did someone walk in and go, "How much
Same
for that
guy.
brown leather gripped one with the
Same
bronze
guy.
hilt?" And I was like, "It's not for sale." And I took it off the thing and put it down. And then Chris cried laughing. Granted, we were 4 bottles of meat in that day.
Yeah, at least.
Gosh, yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
there's some
Oh,
good
wouldn't
pictures of that.
Surprised.
You might have sold it at 2 bottles in. Once you
Yeah.
got 4, you got too
Ooh.
sentimental.
Yeah.
That was a dangerous day. Dangerous day.
Yeah, that's one of our great fears when we do these shows is the boxes of booze we go through and the decisions we make due to it.
I've never
Yeah.
sold as better when I'm drinking because I'm so relaxed, easygoing, smile happy, and so willing to give discounts. So anyone
Yeah.
that's out there listening and wants to buy from us,
Yep.
you know,
Wait till
pay
the
our
end of the
drink
day.
tab.
Yeah.
Wait till the end of the day until I'm tired and boozed out.
Or bring
Yeah.
us your own meat
Yeah,
samples.
just
That
bring him a
seems to
bottle.
work quite well.
Right.
Yeah.
Winter Jack is a favorite.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, we
you
don't talk
know-
about Winter Jack.
Yeah, if you want discounts.
Oh, God,
we're
wait till
giving
we get to
secrets
the-
away here.
Wait till we get to the episodes where we can get a hold of Winter Jack. Those are going to be the best worst.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went through one bottle in that one episode pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's the last bottle I had.
There's going to be a bottle an episode for each of us, and we're just going to be like, wow,
Yeah.
that show really declined when they just completely boozed out every
or
We'll
the
be
other
like
way. It just
5
got
hours
better.
Right.
in.
or it got better.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of makers again, as I mentioned at the beginning, that I didn't get the chance. We all had to pick our top 3, and then Josh and I have a lot of experience with other sword makers, but Thomas and Colton do not. But yeah, I wanted to give a shout
You
out.
can change that with your donation of a blade, though.
Yeah, there you go. But
If you donate a blade, it will become my new favorite blade.
you're right.
And I'll feature it on this show.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, a million more
Judge.
subscribers, that might be a possibility.
Right.
Right. We're just getting really weird ones.
Yeah. So I'm currently my background is kind of a mess right now, but I'm gonna have 2 display cabinets, one for Sterling Armory pieces, and then one for my favorite makers collection. And so in that now is, I think I mentioned it earlier, but so Delta and Angus trim, Valiant Armories, Albion, Arms and Armor, Baltimore Knife and Sword. I feel bad if I'm forgetting anybody, but there's so many great makers out right now, which is awesome because, when growing up, when we were fans of swords, watching Highlander and Conan in the 80s, you couldn't find anything. So,
Slim pickings, man.
yeah.
You had
Now
you
they're
had that
all
one.
over the place.
You had that one Century martial arts catalog that came around that had the same Marto Toledo or Pakistan ninja swords. That's all you could find, or triplet fencing swords, or
Triplet
the
didn't even exist.
same like
At least I didn't know about them at that time.
yeah.
We always got the Bud K catalog. That was
Right.
like the only
Bud
sword
K.
I knew about.
Yeah, Bud Case, at least when I started getting Bud K, it was what, 95, 96-ish at that time.
Yeah. Then I started getting
but-
museum replicas limited and really falling for stuff, but
yeah,
not
that was
really
like-
knowing who any of the makers were.
Yeah, and that was,
What?
we thought that was good stuff. And some of it
Yeah.
is. But
Some of
yeah.
it was, yeah.
I am like notoriously bad with names, and I
Mhm.
just don't connect. Like I'll see a picture or a face and like remember it forever, but and then like I can't associate a name with it. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this sword, and then I have no idea who it was. So I'm just like,
Right.
I can't remember. Like I don't know.
I'll start writing it
So-
down, take notes.
I know. I'm like, I'll just have
Yeah.
to be like,
Or just shoot us a
photo,
message
write
on
it
our
down. Well, I
maker
know.
group and say,
I
hey,
could-
who made this?
Yeah.
No, I could. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, this is gonna be a new game. Oh, that's another
Yeah.
topic. I'm just gonna find like 50 obscure swords, and we're just gonna go through it. Can somebody
Name
it?
them.
Oh
Who
yeah.
go
made
with
it?
that.
Where's it from?
I missed.
I-
Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say I'm probably gonna fail at that one too.
Oh, me too, completely. Well,
So I
that's why
missed-
I'm the one finding them, because I don't know what they
Yeah.
are.
Right. So I missed
That's what it needs. Colton and I need to find him, and then
Yeah,
you two
yeah, that's
need
what I'm
to
saying.
question him. There we
So I
go.
missed
That's how
Todd's
we do it.
stuff, Todd and Todd stuff, and then Brendan, as we talked about earlier. I think we talked about Todd earlier too. But yeah, if you can get any pieces from Todd, grab them. And then Brendan's stuff again is great fantasy work. So I still feel like I'm missing other makers here. So apologies.
There's
Uh,
tons.
Mark.
You said
Yeah.
there's so
Yeah.
many, but it's kind of talks about the industry, like how many of us are out there now, and like how it's growing again, and which is great. It's great for everyone.
Yeah, and we all know
Yeah.
each other. So we most of us know each other.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Nobody knows
still
me.
a relatively small community, and it's a great community. And I mean, just about everybody that I personally know is a fantastic maker, and I love
Yeah,
it.
same. As far as makers go, I think it's amazing how I say what 80, 90, 85% of the makers out there are so close to being the same person. As far as like us go, like every sword maker I've ever met, it's just like a smiling, happy sword nerd, and that they're so passionate about it, and it's so refreshing to meet those guys, shake their hands, get a drink with them, and just go, yeah, let's talk shop. That's really cool.
Yeah. That's why hopefully we can get Brendan on, because he's like us, just with an Australian accent. And,
Nice.
and then maybe I'm curious if,
above us.
Yeah, anytime you have an accent, right?
Definitely makes it more interesting. Yeah.
I wonder if Nathan from Arms and Armor would join us. He's so fun to talk to.
Oh yeah, Nathan's an awesome guy.
The whole crew.
That was that was one of those things that really popped with me when I went to Combat Con. I actually got to talk to a lot of these makers that I'd never met, and they all were just like the kids I would have hung out with in middle school, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Which is great. Even like top tier crazy people like Peter Lyon. Like I remember like being intimidated by just his existence and his craft, and then messaging them on Facebook and him going, "Yeah, shoot me a question, whatever you want." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." That's amazing. Yeah, the Stagmer brothers, Matt and Carrie and Ileana, Ilya, all those guys.
Ileana,
all of them are just so cool.
We didn't hear that yet. When my first conversation with Fuvial Deltin, actually it was about the Braveheart Blade. I don't know if you remember. I think we talked about that on like a sword talk a long time ago.
I believe so. Yeah.
Talking to him was, I was like, I can't believe I'm talking to this guy right now. So the same with Tony Swatton. Whenever you meet him, he's the coolest guy ever. And so we're in such lucky times right now as sword enthusiasts, and that so much is available to us. So audience, so you're watching, list us your top 3 swords and sword makers. I mean, there's new ones coming out every day. The new Vision line with Valiant Armories and Angus Trim.
Oh yeah,
they're probably some of the best blades you can get for the money right now.
If you can find them.
Yeah, if you can find them.
The key part.
And again, we're saying this as makers, so we know.
We got the inside info.
Yeah, all the stuff we make is slightly different because it's our own stuff. But like there's so much good stuff. So I'm hoping we actually see some of those at Combat Con this year. I don't know if it'll happen, but I hope.
It'd be cool if we do.
Yeah. And
it'd be cool if we see you at Combat Con, Thomas.
Yeah,
I am in limbo on that, and I will let you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, Thomas.
Coming up. That's what.
So, I'm in a work limbo, and as soon as I know how that goes out, I will be more than happy to.
Who else am I going to have rocket accidents with?
That's the wrong thing with that shirt, man.
That's a joke that we can never explain.
No.
Yeah. So good.
So Combat Con, as of our filming, this won't release till probably the week before Combat Con, right? This will release. But when we're filming it now, we're 60 days out. So 60 days, we got a lot of work to get done. So we're hoping to have a lot of pieces out at Combat Con. Hopefully we'll have a full 3 tables worth of stuff. Hopefully. So Josh sold all of his pieces.
That's my problem. I all of a sudden have the most terrifying realization in my life of, oh crap, I just sold everything I have. Oh crap, I just sold everything I have. And then now and this convention I'm working, this fair at Evermore, runs till mid-August. So if I keep having good weekends, my Monday through Thursday is just going to be spent replenishing everything I've lost, which I've just thought, as I sold everything, was just like, I don't know if I can do that in a week. Holy crap, that's a lot of grinding. That's a lot of leather work. I might need to actually hire people to help.
Right. So that's, I think that
good problem to have.
It is. But every time we all talk about going full time, that's the first thing that pops in my head is, man, we would have to hire folks, and hopefully we'll get there. That would be awesome.
So if you really, really, really want to get into sword making, send us some resumes. You know,
We
some
can't pay
list
you,
of your
but,
favorite
you know.
swords.
You're an experienced earning intern.
The thing about minimum wage.
Right. We can't even afford that, man. What are you talking about?
Oh,
Oh God, yes.
so you're gonna have to pay us for the first year alone,
Right.
and you can pay us.
Wait,
You
it's
pay us
classes.
minimum wage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're teaching
Right.
classes. That's what it is.
Well, that's originally what I wanted to do. I wanted to teach classes at like a front warehouse space or something. Do classes and then what you call it? Train up how many ever people that want to take the class, and then keep an eye out for talent, and then put those guys to work. Go like, yeah, hope you enjoyed the class. How do you feel about actually making swords with me? You know,
So it's a Last Starfighter, but in sword making.
Right.
correct. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
You did really well. Can you help us?
Right. Hey, you did really good. How do you like getting paid money to do the thing you just like to do? Like,
Yeah.
cool. How much? Let's not talk about that.
No.
That's for the future.
Yeah.
You know, I figure if you only make one sword a year, you'll break even. like a Groucho Marx joke where it's like you end up owing me money to work for me.
Right. Yeah.
So sad.
But in the meantime, though, hopefully we'll have a lot come back on this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then for those following us, you guys know. So what we do is prior to Combat Con, we start posting everything we're working on the various sword groups on Facebook and Instagram, and so you'll start seeing what pieces we're gonna have available at Combat Con. And yeah, so like last year, you know, we sold a couple before we got there, and then the people picked them up the first day of the show. So yeah, hopefully this year will go just as well.
Mhm.
And we got all. I know I got a lot of work to do, so hopefully I have a plan. I just don't know if we're going to be able to, or if I'm going to be able to get as much done as I'm hoping. But we shall see.
Yeah, I'm in the process of moving, so I'm going to be struggling with anything at the moment.
Right. So, alrighty, we're just over the hour, so I guess we can call it there. Yeah, this was fun. And again, guys, if you have favorite makers and pieces that you want to show, post below. And am I forgetting anything, guys?
Nothing I can think of.
Real quick, let's outro everybody. Colton, you want to start?
Yeah. So Colton from Copperthorn. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Sterling Armory.
Awesome. Oh, you just posted that dagger too. Don't forget to post that on the Sterling Armory page unless it's sold out.
I was going to. It is not. It is right here.
So he's got some cool daggers available too. Unless you're saving that for Combat Con.
It's going to Evermore this weekend.
I was going to say that's going to sell this weekend at Evermore.
Yeah.
Pretty sad.
Right. Cool. Josh, outro.
I'm Josh. Butt stuff. You can
Joshua Vaughn,
find-
butt stuff, bear.
Joshua Vaughn butt stuff bear. No. You can find me on Dark Archer Design on my Instagram, or you can find me on my Facebook, Joshua Vaughn Warbear, or out in public in Utah. I hang out a lot. I hang out a lot at Golden Corral. Taco Bell's got nacho fries. I'll be there for a while, throughout the week. Evermore on Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah,
I don't.
right.
Utah is. We just got internet last week in Utah. Wawa should be along shortly after that.
If Josh was here, we would hang out
God.
every time. Wawa or Arby's.
Yeah, that was like our every time at the shop. We got to do a nostalgic episode with shop memories, because that was it. Is coming over, watching Conan the Barbarian or Monty Python while we were making swords, taking a break to go to either Arby's or Wawa, coming back to make swords, and just going to the point where we were just delirious, where we'd get a little dicey with the machinery, and then the night would end.
Yep. When your hat
Good times.
starts falling into the grinder.
Oh.
Yeah, you grind off your hat,
Is
or
that the
Chris-
outro? Keep
or
your
Chris
hat out of the
throws.
grinder?
to keep your hats out of the grinder. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I threw
Keep
that
Keep
down.
your clothes out of the grinder.
Yeah. And your gloves too.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
wear gloves. Oh, that's in the accident episode.
Yeah.
My thumb went like 84 degrees.
Ugh.
It's just quick.
I am uncomfort.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh, we were doing
Good times.
Can't keep losing track. Thomas.
I got some pictures.
Yeah.
Save them. Show them
As,
next time.
as ever, I am Thomas. You will not be able to find me online unless you
Find
look
him at
really
Renfair,
hard.
though.
But you can find me at Ren Fairs, which kind of goes to say a lot about who I am. I am a monster. But if you do want to get in touch with me and see any of the works, I do post on the Facebook page as well. I actually will have a piece that is going to a good friend of mine. We recreated a piece for him. By the time this is live, he'll already have had it, but that should be on the Facebook page as well when this episode is live.
Jared, we're talking about you.
Yes.
And then I am Chris. Again, you can find us, all of us at Sterling Armory, on Facebook, Instagram, and here. And don't go to our webpage because it's not done yet. And
And there will
by the
be.
way, still need help there. So if anyone wants to help with a webpage, let us know. But yeah, thanks everyone for following along. If you've been on this long for over an hour, thanks for listening. And please comment below. Every comment and like and subscribe and all that stuff really helps out this new channel. And yeah, so we're excited. We got a whole list of guests that we were just talking about. We want to reach out to and yeah, I think that's it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and keep your peens clean and don't fall into
Don't grind your hat.
Don't grind your hat. Yeah.
Or your fingers or your elbows.
Your tootsies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and don't wear tennis shoes that can catch fire.
So that day was, you had a bunch of oily rags on the ground where I was welding, and I was wearing flip-flops or sandals or something. And I remember I was welding, and then I put the helmet up, went, oh, that smells weird. And then I was like, that's kind of warm. And I looked down, and my feet are just in flames from the oily rags just catching, and me going, well. Yeah, and of course, fire. Like when you're stomping, it just gets bigger. It just goes. I'm like, ugh. Robbie should leave the shop.
Yeah. Did I tell you
We're
that
safe.
whole-
Chris, your shop's broken. It's just on fire.
Right. Yeah.
You should
Did I
probably
tell you
get that
whole
looked
building
at.
is
Fine.
demolished?
I'm gonna go home.
Yeah. So that whole building got demolished. Did I tell you that?
Yeah. Well, it was mostly black mold holding it up anyway.
Right. I know. Black mold and broken glass. Right.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. We keep saying we're gonna end, so let's go ahead and end there.
All right, guys.
And we will
Later, guys.
catch you. This is Sword Talk.
Everyone have a
number
good
9.
night.
There you go.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Keep your beans clean.
I forgot how to end. There we go.
I'm all alone.